When it comes to building something of your own, there is an assumption that eventually when you get things up and running, you're supposed to quit. So you're supposed to build the thing in your notice and then post your obligatory photo of your laptop and your coffee and an announcement that you've finally chosen freedom. But what if you don't want that to be the case? What if you don't want to leave? What if you spent 15 or 20 years building a career that you actually like and that you're actually proud of? You just don't want it to be the only place your ambition, your expertise, or your income gets to show up. Today, I want to challenge the idea that you either build and leave or you stay on the one track. So grab your notebook and let's get into it. Welcome to the Career Changemaker podcast. Do you want clear direction about your next chapter, but find yourself overthinking every move and worrying about getting it wrong? If so, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Janine Esbrand, corporate lawyer turned career coach, keynote speaker, and mother of two. And I've discovered how to gain real career clarity and build an impactful career on my terms without sacrificing security or burning out. If you're ready for aligned career options, confident decisions, and work that protects your peace, close that comparison tab on LinkedIn, grab your notebook, and let's dive in. Before we dive in, I want to make sure you have signed up for the Multiple Streams of Income Intensive. If you are someone who's been listening and you're considering building something of your own, but you're not sure where to start, the intensive is where you need to be on the 2nd and 3rd of September. We're going to unpack the expertise that you already have. We're going to find where the commercial value actually sits within your career history. And then we're going to map your fastest path to a sensible additional stream of income for you. The link to join is in the show notes, so head over to careerchangemakers.com/intensive to save your seat. One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how do you fit it all in? How do you manage to do all the different things that you do whilst raising a family, whilst being a wife, whilst running a home? How do you do it? And I thought it would be good to give people a practical view of how it all works by sharing a screenshot of my calendar. So I did that a couple of weeks ago on LinkedIn. I shared the calendar, which showed how I color code my calendar. So there's a color for legal work, one for coaching, one for podcasting, one for speaking, one for consulting. They're all color coded across the week. So you're able to see at any given time where I am focusing most of my time and my energy. And when I posted it on LinkedIn, it posted really well. I think at this point it has about 10,000 impressions. And the reason I think it did well is because often people want to see behind the scenes. They want to see, well, how do you make it work? How does everything fit together? And that screenshot demonstrated that. But what it didn't show was the fact that getting to the point where there are 5 or 6 streams of income and 5 or 6 different colors on my calendar did not happen overnight. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to build a portfolio career and here's the different things that I'm going to be doing. Let me just add them all to my calendar at once. No, it didn't work like that. It was a gradual process. So I didn't leave law to build a coaching business. I built my coaching business on the side. Initially, I did my coach training in the evenings. And when I went on maternity leave with my first child, I had time and space to start thinking about building out a practice around the training that I had. And over time, I took on some consulting work alongside coaching. So every stream got added over time. So I was still finding my feet and building around one stream of income when another one got introduced, but I didn't introduce them all at one time. And I was working my day job throughout. So I worked as a lawyer and built my business on the side for 5 years. And then in lockdown, I decided that I was going to go all in, focusing on the business and focusing on the coaching and the speaking and the consulting side of things. But more recently, I've added back in legal consulting because I've missed it and I really enjoy it. And so I'm doing that again. So the portfolio with the different streams of income has given me the ability to flex and change and add and take away depending on the season of life that I've been in and what it is I've been focused on. But the thing that I want you to get is that building out these multiple streams was not done in replacement of my day job. It was done alongside my day job. And I want to share with you the reasons why I think it's a good idea for you to continue working in the profession that you have trained for whilst you start building on the side. So the first reason is that your job can fund your experiments. Your salary can become the advantage whilst you build on the side, because it means that you don't have to just make the first idea work. When you are in a space of financial scarcity and you're concerned about security, it's really hard for you to be creative and it's really hard for you to make independent, impartial decisions. So having your salary and knowing how much money is coming in every month allows you to test out other potential avenues and do so with a critical mind. So you can test out doing a bit of advisory work on the side. You can test out doing some consulting. You can test out building out a digital product. You can test all of those knowing that it isn't going to impact your finances. When people say, right, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go all in and I'm going to build something new, they're doing it initially from a place of excitement, but that can quickly turn to desperation when the income isn't coming in as quickly. So instead of just jumping ship and saying, I'm going to go do something else, keeping your day job and keeping your career going and building that whilst you build on the side means that you get to treat some of the income that comes in through your job as capital for the project that you are building. You get to pour in before you've made any money. Right? When I think about the amount of money I have invested in coaching and training over the years as I have been building my business, I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not kept working in my day job when I first started. So I'm talking like tens of thousands of pounds over the years that I have invested in coaching and training and learning so that I've been able to position myself for the opportunities that I get to have now. And the capital for that, some of it came through business revenue, but some of it in the early days came from my job. Just know that you're able to use your job, leverage your job, leverage the years of experience that you've built up within either this organization or your industry, rather than feeling like I need to jump ship and leave it alone. You don't have to. You get to build on the side and have it still work for you. One of the challenges that often people talk about is capacity. So when they think about building on the side, they have the idea that they're going to do that for a short period of time because they're not going to have capacity to sustain doing their day job whilst working on the side. And I want you to really think about the capacity piece, because often when we're starting to consider what we want to build, we do so in a quite an abstract manner and just say, what would we build? What would we do? And I want you not to start from a place of what do I want to build? I want you to start from a place of what do I realistically have capacity to do? Right? So what can I realistically give 3 to 5 hours a week to for the next 6 months? Right? That allows you to not have in mind that I'm building this big, massive thing on the side, but actually you start thinking about what is viable for me in this season. Because what could I do? What should I do? In a very broad manner can be super overwhelming. And when it becomes overwhelming to the point of inaction, it's pointless because you're not moving to where you want to get to, right? You get into analysis paralysis and you get stuck there. What we don't want to do is get into analysis paralysis. Instead, you can ask yourself, what can I do in a few hours? And that's a question that you can answer is, where do I start small? Because once we start small, we can build up over time. And be honest, right? Look at your week, look at your capacity, look at the demands, look at who is expecting things for you, whether you have family or you don't, whatever's going on, what demands do you have in place? And then where can I some time and some hours? So whether that is you wake up a little bit earlier and you have some time before work, or during your lunch break, or on the weekend you have a batch of time, or in the evening, you decide when that time is, and then you take that time for what you're building on the side, and then you use that time as an indicator as to where you're going to be focusing your energies. And that's really where you want to start. You want to start small and you want to stay committed. So if you give yourself 4-5 hours a week and you plot it on the calendar and you say, this is when I'm going to do it, honor that. Honor those appointments with yourself in the same way as you would if you had made an appointment with somebody else. Honor that. And then in that time you are building, you are spending time on testing, on getting your ideas out there and focusing on starting to generate that first amount of income. And as you go, over time, you're going to be able to build the first stream out, and you might want to flex and you might want to change. And then if you want to, you can build more in the future. When I started, I built one, and then I learned, and then I took the learning from building the first one and then built the second one. Having that sequence and having that focus, and then that sequence of, okay, I'm doing this over and over and over again, and then I'm going to see what else I might want to do, if anything. That's what makes portfolio careers feel possible. You're not being asked to construct this entire ecosystem overnight. You're being encouraged to start small with a contained experiment to see what works, and then you go from there. And one thing not to lose sight of is the energetic capacity that is also required. Because when we think of capacity, sometimes we just think about time, but I want you to also think in terms of your energy, so that when you're considering what it is you want to start with, you're going to pick a stream that's closest to what you already know, what you already do, so that you're not expending more energy than you need to trying to figure this out. That's always going to be your fastest starting. So when you start building, having your goal in mind is important, right? For a lot of people, replacing your salary isn't the goal. Your first milestone isn't financial independence. Your first milestone is you establishing where do you want the income to go. So if you are starting to generate income on the side, what are you going to do with it? Give it an assignment. Is it that you want to do building work on your house? Is it that you want to pay for school fees? Is it that you want to treat yourself to an amazing holiday? Like, what would building an extra stream of income do for you? If you were able to build out an additional 5 figures or 6 figures over the next year by your side project, where would that money go and how would it help you? And when you have that in mind, then any income that you generate on the side is going to feel great because it's you working towards that goal. I remember the first time I got paid to do a speaking engagement. I think it must have been like £100 or £150. It was not a lot of money, but I was so excited. I was so excited because I was like, if I can get paid, if someone's going to pay me for my words, if someone's going to pay me to speak to a group of people, which I would absolutely do for free, and I had done for free, if they're going to pay me once, that means they can pay me twice. And if they're going to pay me this much now, that means they can pay me a lot more in the future. So just getting going and getting that first amount, it shifts your belief about what is possible. Because when you go from having nothing, right? At this point, you haven't built anything, you have nothing. You go from there and then you build something out of it. And as a result of what you built, someone pays you because you've been able to create value. It is an amazing feeling. Think about it. You wake up every day and go to your day job and you're creating value every day. But the way that you're creating value is within an infrastructure that's already established, that's been built by somebody else. And you're told what to do. Maybe there's SOPs, maybe there's processes, there's policies that you follow in order for you to show up and deliver. When you're building something for yourself, none of that exists. None of that exists. You're literally deciding what it is that you want to do and you are creating as you go. And then you get someone to pay you for that. You've literally created something out of nothing and have the ability to do it over and over and over again. It's amazing. It's amazing because when you have a salary, it's capped, right? This is how much you earn. This is how much you get every month. When you're building on the side, that's additional income that you get to put somewhere. You get to put it in a pension. You get to put it in investments. You get to put it somewhere that is going to support you and your family outside of the baseline that you've established through your job. So I would highly recommend that you set yourself some financial goals and think about how you building something on the side is going to be able to get you to your goals quicker because you're not touching the pot of money that's already allocated for bills and all the things that you already pay for, but you're generating more. You are generating more. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So when you are really thinking about getting started, I don't want you to be thinking, oh, but I don't want to leave my job and it's risky to leave my job. And what if I make the wrong decision? We don't even have to make that decision. All we need to do is get started and get started small. You make the first 100, the first 200, the first £500, that in some time will become the first 1,000 and 2,000 and 10,000, and it grows, right? It grows in the way that you want it to go, depending on how much time you focus on it, the capacity that you have, the guidance that you have, the understanding that you have around what it takes to build. But just know that you building on the side is a great game plan that's going to allow you to build in a way that isn't stressful. And it's going to give you the breathing room required to bring forth the creativity, the ideas, the intentionality that you want when it comes to building your career out differently in this next season. So, in summary, you don't have to decide today whether you are going to leave your job eventually or whether you will continue to straddle the two. That's a decision for a future version of you, one who'll have a lot more information than you have right now. Your job today is to ask, what could I start building alongside what I already have? Because 6 months from now, I'd rather you have one small income stream in addition to your day job and a lot more clarity around the direction that you want to go, then still be sitting here trying to decide whether or not to blow up your entire life and jump ship and go and do something completely different. If you're ready to find out what that one thing could be, I can help you to tease that out as part of the multiple streams of income intensive. On day 1, I'm going to be giving you insights into how you get started. And on day 2, we're going to have a hot seat. So if you have questions that are specific to you, your industry, your background, you can put yourself forward for a hot seat and I can give you your individual roadmap. So make sure you sign up for the intensive. It is on the 2nd and 3rd of September and the link is in the show notes. But if you want to head over to careerchangemakers.com/intensive, you'll be able to sign up there. That's all I have for you today. I will be back again with another episode very, very soon. Until then, look after yourself and keep moving towards your career goals. Hey, ambitious woman, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to follow the show and share it with someone who may be quietly rethinking their next chapter? Also, please leave a review. It really helps this message reach more ambitious women ready for career clarity. And it lights me up to know that this podcast is helpful to you. Until next time, go and take one strategic step forward and I'll meet you back here in a few days for another episode. Let's keep building.